Okay. The only thing keeping these latch valves in position after this solenoid has initially placed them in position, because remember, this gets pulsed on, this goes into position, flow through here, positions the the C1 latch valve. And what keeps them there is the various hydraulic pressures flowing through the valves as we shift. This is turned off after the shift is completed into a moving range. So as long as the engine runs, these things stay in place. They stay in whatever position they're in. So if operation says, okay, pull over, park the bus and shut off the motor. Okay? What you've done is you've relieved the pressure on the latch valves and they will go out of position. Now, you can't restart the bus either. You don't have a neutral input from Allison to tell Cummins to go ahead and engage the starter, so you can't start the bus. So it's a crapshoot. Okay? It's a crapshoot, whether you want to come home on that or not. And all the while, we're looking at this switch. This switch, because of the fluid path, in second, third, fourth, and fifth, will be on. Reverse, neutral, and sixth. Reverse, neutral, first, and sixth, it is turned off. This switch monitors the position of the two latch valves and the PCS2 solenoid.
So when that happens, it will be better to leave the bus running until maintenance shut up, and if they don't decide to tow it, or we just...
No, because basically in limp home mode, you can't put it in neutral. So basically you're idling in a drive gear. Well, as long as you're not trying to move the bus, you'd probably be okay, and that way maintenance can come along and they'd have power steering and get it up on the landau. It may actually at that point be idling. It might try and cool down a little bit, but you're still in gear, so you still have that flow through the torque converter.
And generating heat.
And it's still generating heat,
Probably.
but not that much,
Not as
right?
much, but I probably shut it off. I mean, because it's a dead flare. Besides, it's not our guys that are towing it. So the landau guy comes, he hooks it up, he winches it up on the deck, and it comes home. Now, what our mechanics will do, if they get that, first thing they're going to do is they'll go to the circuit breaker, and 7 times out of 10, that's probably the problem. He'll flip the circuit breaker, touchpad comes on board. Now, it's still, you're not, okay, go ahead and continue your day. No, he's going to drive it home and find out, well, why is the circuit breaker tripping, and it'll lose the power. If the circuit breaker's not tripped, if it's in the appropriate position, then it's getting towed because obviously something else is wrong with it. But 7 times out of 10, it's going to be that circuit breaker in the battery box.
So once you reset that, it should be all fine and dandy.
Yep.
It's ready to go.
ECM's back online. It's basically a reboot at that point.
Um,
And then, you know, your touchpad will come online.
Unless you lose another breaker.
Unless that
Another
breaker
circuit
pops
breaker.
again, and then we're right
Then
back in
you
the
know.
same situation we were in. Only this time you're probably in neutral, and neutral fails in neutral, and you can't move.
And that usually fixes the issue, like, permanently, or for that time frame?
Most of the mechanics will change out the circuit breaker at that point, because the circuit breaker may be defective. But if I put a new circuit breaker in and it trips again, then no, that wasn't the problem. The problem wasn't the circuit breaker. The problem is somewhere there's an intermittent short causing the circuit breaker to do what it's designed to do. And now we've got to pin out the OEM, the vehicle harness supplied by Flyer, and possibly the harness over here supplied by Allison. So we don't know where the problem is at that point. It may be, you know, a lot of times it says, okay, trip the circuit breaker, or, you know, I reset the circuit breaker and it went out and we haven't had a problem. Okay? But sometimes he'll reset the circuit breaker, so then we just tape it over here. No. Then you've got either a defective circuit breaker or a real short. Okay. Now, a lot of times when people try an Outsmart Flyer and, oh, I need a power source. Here, let's tap into this one going into the ECM. And then that ECM does not handle power surges well at all. Probably it will just turn itself off at that point and say, whatever you did, we're done. Skippy. I wish he could talk. That'd be fun. All right, questions? No questions? I'm that good, huh? Yeah, no, don't answer. You'll hurt my feelings. All right.
Either that or they just want to get the hell out.
Yeah, that's probably it. They're like, Mike, shut up so we can leave. Remember, a Ford Escort and an Escort and a Ford are not the same thing.
Depends who you ask.
Well, that's true. Have a nice day, folks. Have a good weekend, too. Go where you need to go. Don't